And in an era of, if it wasn't disco, it was all like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It was all like, you know, Genesis. It was all so like bands like Yes, and also over the top, and I mean, you know, rock operas everywhere, and it was just the last thing you'd want to be was like that.
Life is for us to keep. If you leave me now, you'll take away the biggest part of me.
And all of a sudden, something came along that just sort of like ran that into the ground, and ran all like the rock starring and all the nights of cocaine and whatever, just squished it, you know. It was great.
I got a feeling inside of me. She's kind of strange, I can so see.
It wasn't about killing anybody specifically, but it was about damaging the gods of your culture, which are in effect these pop stars, so to be, and you kind of damaged the legend of it. It's like you gave it a right royal kicking.
A lot of bands started to be more independent and either promote it themselves or find someone more personally in touch with them to promote their gigs and that.
Well, I think the English scene came out of the New York scene. It all started in New York. You know, everything was going on at CBGB's. I mean, that's where it all sort of got recognized.
Well, December '73 is when I started, and I'd say by the end of '75, I guess the middle of '75, we had a festival for the top 40 unrecorded rock bands, and New York rock bands. And we had about 70 bands literally that nobody ever heard of, so that's really what started it off.
So during that era, what were some of the bands that were playing here at the time that were your main attractions?
Well, during the early era, there was the Talking Heads, Television, the Ramones, and the Stilettos, from which Blondie came from, and then Blondie. Patti Smith, and then we had the Dead Boys.
Yeah, with Dead Boys, it was more or less, we were bringing out just the physical aggression. We were making a statement, but it was more subliminal. We thought people would pick up what we were trying to say. What we bring was Clockwork Orange to stage, and we thought people would see it. And we were also trying to let people let loose physically. At the time, America wasn't going through the crisis Britain was. And also, you have to be outside of the tornado or the hurricane to see the damage it's doing.
They weren't looking for anything new, really, in America. Everything was getting soft. There was no more pop-type music. There was a pop scene in England, still, in the early 70s with Suede and Gary Glitter and things like that. But America wasn't having that stuff.
The French, when I first went there in 1974, I was quite shocked when I went into this place called the Open Market, which was their like sort of hip record store there. And they had Question Mark and the Mysterians, the Kingsmen, all sorts of stuff from the real sort of punk 60s American stuff. And like all the guys were wearing like sort of American motorcycle jackets and cowboy boots and jeans. And it was in sort of James Dean haircuts. And it was a kind of weird thing to me. You know, I was walking into France really for the first time. And there was that element of, and they had a real appreciation for like Robert Crumb comic books and all sorts of things that were very specialized, you know, and really the cream of some of the American culture.
What really spurred the movement on, as it did, I think, worldwide, was the very first Ramones tour. What would happen is the Ramones would hit a town, any town, North America, Europe, and the very next day there would be 5 or 6 punk bands.
We were the only people doing what we were doing. Nobody else was doing what we were playing. And when we went to England, they were listening to pub rock, Dr. Feelgood and stuff like that. And it wasn't until after we left, we played 2 sold-out shows. And I guess the more hipper people, like the people that now are in the Clash and people like that, they had gotten our import album and they were in tune to what we were doing. And after we left, the whole British invasion kicked off.
Next on Punk 7679, the rise of the Clash, the last pogo, and England's screams from King's Road.
Presenting some of the 2,000 body parts you can clean with Lever 2000, a deodorant soap that's better for your skin. Tender parts like your earlobe and pinky, and parts like your feet that tend to get stinky. Parts that sweat, parts that get dry, and parts that you got and you don't know why. Because Lever 2000 has gentle skincare ingredients, so you can use it on pretty parts, gritty parts, and even little bitty parts. Lever 2000, a deodorant soap that's better for your skin and all your 2,000 parts.
First interactive TV walk. Get up!
Place your hand here.
In 1924, the record for speed skating hit 25 miles an hour. At 90 miles an hour, bobsledding hurled into the books. Then skier Franz Weber hit a heart-stopping speed of over 208 kilometers an hour. And now...
Excuse me.
When the moon
Here's your pizza.
Already?
Yes, already. McDonald's pizza is freshly baked in our revolutionary ovens in under 5 minutes. Okay, maybe it won't win any downhill medals, but you've never had pizza so good, so fast.
Oreo has an offer that's rolling your way. Just look for specially marked packs of Oreo cookies to find contest details in a scratch and win card. With every card, you could instantly win high-quality Zetra Blade skates by Rollerblade, plus Rollerblade fanny packs, t-shirts, and caps. Get on a roll with the great taste of Oreo at a store near you. Because with a contest offer that's going to move this fast, you've got to get rolling.
Welcome back to Punk 7679. The musical gap between London and New York City was bridged in the early 1970s when Malcolm McLaren, a Kings Road boutique owner, ended up managing the New York Dolls. After acquiring this rich taste for managing rock and roll bands, McLaren got involved with the Sex Pistols, who at the time didn't have themselves a frontman. Well, certainly not one adequate in McLaren's eyes. McLaren approached a few people to do the job. One of them was Midge Ure, at the time performing in the Scottish pop band Slick. Midge declined the offer of being with the Sex Pistols, particularly when he found out McLaren was more interested in how he looked than how he actually sounded. But it's Midge that gives us this starting point for the second chapter of Punk 7679, Form and Style.
Britain gave it its form, gave it a look. You know, it was, the attitude had been there, the garage band attitude had been around for a while with the Ramones and the New York Dolls and whatever. But Britain had this look. Britain had, I suppose, Malcolm McLaren and Vivienne Westwood, who were an integral part of the whole thing.
The clothes were something very new, I suppose, for Kings Road, which was like a field of glitterdom. You know, it was all big flared trousers, lots of jewellery around the neck and tight little velvet jackets. What I was selling was all these leather masks with big metal zips and little holes for your eyes and rubber skirts, thick black latex. And we called it, obviously, Sex. That would be large pink letters outside the shop and no windows, couldn't see in. That was the beginnings of a style that became provocative for a whole dispossessed bunch of kids who were no longer throwing their loyalties to the groups of the day, yeah, of the Faces or David Bowie or Roxy Music. Finally, all my produce was being confiscated and I was had up in court on obscenity charges. Well, I really took a great offence at that and continued, nevertheless, unabated, and created a legion of fans who now wanted a music to harness themselves to this look.
We were the first. We were the first to tour. We were the first to make a record. We were the first to come to the States. The first to do anything.
It suddenly sort of changed, you know. Almost, well, it's as if it was overnight. Suddenly, these same people, you know, instead of saying rubbish and walking out, we've emptied halls before in those days, you know. We're really getting into it, and we were playing the same material, the same style. It's just, I suppose they heard it was the thing that was coming, you know.
What was it that changed that whole thing?
I really don't know. It just suddenly emerged. I mean, the Pistols did a lot to break through. You know, the scandal side of it.
about uniforms. It's not about clothes or hairdos or any of that. Wear what you want, do what you want, be what you want.
Whichever way people interpret it, we was ahead of a movement and we was doing something, breaking down a lot of barriers at the same time.
And we were the golden boys of Fleet Street, which is the home of all the media in London, and we did sell more papers than anybody did on Armistice Day.
Pistols sort of gave everybody a shot in the arm, saying that, you know, you can make bucks or make a living for yourself by playing music.
Breaking rocks in a hot sun. I fought for law in a law one. I fought for law in a law one. I needed money 'cause I had none. I fought for law in a law one. I fought for law in a law one.
What about politics? Do you consider yourself a political group?
Personal politics, yeah.
What do you mean by personal politics?
You know, sort of like, if somebody tells you something you can't do, you fight out against it, say, why can't I do it?
When we put the group together, we try to do that, reinvent the world from scratch.
When we wrote that music, first thing that I remember is walking down the road with Joe, and, you know, we've just signed a record deal for £100,000, you know, and we're sort of walking down the road with holes in our shoes. And we're going, my God, we're going to have all this money. And it's like, what are we going to write about now?
Basically, what we're here for, right, is that it's like for us, we're like visiting, you know what I mean? And all these places we go to, we've been like 52 different countries, you could say, and the only thing they got in common with each other, this is America, which I'm talking about, and perhaps Canada as well, is they all listen to like mostly shit music, you know, and that's what we're doing, is we're here to alleviate that, you know, get people dancing, help them remember what rock and roll used to be like, and is now, but only in a very few cases.
It's great, it proves that somewhere in North America there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's at least 14, 15 slash 16, that counts. 16 rock and roll fans in North America. 17, 17, where they are. There's probably 20. There's probably 20 rock and roll fans in America.
The education system's a con, the record business is a con, big business is a con, city life is a con, country life is a con, the army's a con, the navy's a con, even cable television is a con.
The way the press blew the thing up, it was actually that the press made it out to be much more than the actual movement was. It was just another bunch of bands going off and playing.
Our faces were infamous before there was a name to put to them. And that's one thing that the Pistols, before there was any records out or anything, or any strong push, the audience was picked up on as much as the group.
Press are geared into sensationalism, that's how they sell stuff, right? So they're going, oh, there's this punk thing, right, let's pick up on all the most sensationalist aspects of it, like the real materialistic things, like people getting injured and all that kind of stuff and arrested. And that's really not what it was about. It's more to do with like a whole new lot of people coming through in the music scene, and they, in a way, tend to overlook that because it doesn't sell stuff.
The punk groups and the punk thing wasn't a violent, you know, movement or anything like that. But the people outside punk were worried and frightened by it or something, and their reaction was violence. And we used to like go down and play a gig in Scunthorpe or Newcastle or something, and we'd come out and the stage door and all the trucks would be like sort of bashed, the windows in, the tyres would be slashed, and there'd be a mob up the end of the road coming down, walking down with bricks to beat us up.
I'm gonna be
me, it was just a rock and roll band, and you know, that's what it was, and it was great until the media got hold of it, and then it just became like a circus, and what we started out doing didn't matter anymore. The music didn't matter, and it was just like all this hype and stuff. Especially when we came to America and played in America, it was like weird.
We never cared about the audience at all there, because down south it was mainly cowboys that come and see us. It's a few punks, but there was a lot of trouble and throwing beer cans at us all night. Nothing to get worried about.
I was a freelance artist development promotion tour manager, and I called up a friend at Warner Brothers and said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, we're doing this tour with the Sex Pistols, but nobody wants to deal with it." I said, "I want it." And they said, "You're kidding." I said, No, it sounds like fun." Sid and I became very close friends, and I begged him to please give me something, methadone, anything to help him with his problem. I was given $25,000 and said, "Okay, take them out, make sure they get to the show, and we don't want to deal with it." And I wanted to save him, and I couldn't.
Dead. It was almost that chiaroscuro look, all black and white. I mean, they stood out as if lights were shining around them, and they were so outrageous looking and so pale and so ill looking to me, and yet they didn't know that on the train platform in a suburban commuter station that every single person was looking at them. They didn't know they were different. And they had this little house in Maida Vale, a townhouse in England, in London, and they had a little life together. I think that she was happy, if one can really define what happy is. But I think, yes, he did give her a reason. But then towards the end, within the last few days, I think she began to suddenly see things clearly and realize how far she had gone and where she was, and that there was just really, she was in a box. There wasn't any way out.
Have you ever heard the Sex Pistols?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Used to be a big fan.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard me singing with them?
Yeah. God save the Sex Pistols.
Did you know that I was ripped off for somewhere in the region of about £700,000 by that bastard McLaren?
Did he?
Yeah. Now, if ever they put me back to Great Britain, you know what my first thing is going to be? Get hold of him.
Hold him out.
Straight away. Have him, won't I?
He just screwed us out with a lot of money, you know. Made us sign all these silly deals. We didn't know what we was doing, you know. And, you know, we didn't make it, you know, as popular as you were just talking about how popular the Sex Pistols are, you know, we didn't make any money from it all.
The Sex Pistols were really a wonderful way of me living a normal life, because the chaos that surrounded us made me feel very happy. Good for my well-being and psyche, generally.
The entire business, the entire establishment, all of it. It all stinks and it must all be replaced.
Do you think the kids care at all about the business?
They should. If they want to grow up and learn just how wicked this world is, they should pay serious attention to it and stop being manipulated by dirty old men.
Punk 7679 will continue with the Dead Kennedys, kick-starting the 80s in Toronto, The Bad.
Mom, send $500 to him, or there won't be a honeymoon.
Dad, is there any way you could send the money today?
When you need to send money to someone fast, come to Western Union. We'll make sure it gets to any of our over 17,000 locations across Canada, the U.S., or worldwide in minutes.
Keep in touch.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money. Now available in Canada. Call us for the location nearest you.
Bad news. Neek's got new shoes. He's got custom fit and support on top. Flip a switch. He's got it below, too.
It's the new Reebok Double Pump.
Now get back up there.
The double pump. Pretty scary, huh?
Hey, get back here, man.
There's parties.
My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. well,
Then there's Humpty Dumpty parties. Like the MuchMusic Super Party featuring Lisa Lohan, and Humpty Dumpty wants you to win one. Collect letters found in specially marked bags of Humpty Dumpty products and spell the word much. Then get ready to invite your whole school. It's party time. There are instant prizes, too, with Humpty Dumpty and MuchMusic. The party's in the bag.
Engine dealers, battle stations, battle stations.
Friday, the going gets tough as we match up two top artists for Combat Eclipse.
Doesn't scare me a bit.
And you determine the winner by phoning in and voting for your favorite.
As if I didn't already know.
Vote once. Vote twice.
Give me all one, too.
Vote as often as you want.
Okay, dokie.
For only 50 cents a call, your Friday night will never be the same again.
I'm kind of tired of watching these parades.
Combat Eclipse, Friday on Much.
Friday?
Friday.
What?
Are the scenes paralleling each other, or is it going New York, London, and then coming to Toronto? Is Toronto...
No, Toronto was always right on top, because the bands that we were bringing to the New Yorker in those days, like the Ramones had never played out of New York till they came here. The Cramps had never played out of New York till they came here. Wayne County had never played out of New York. Talking Heads had done A Space, and we did them afterwards. But, you know, not much after. So it was a pretty important place.
Outside New York, probably maybe Toronto, the most we played any city, you know. Yeah, when we first started out. The first place we came to. Right, and Toronto was really very open-minded. The New York theater, and it used to be Toronto and then Boston, too, so it'd be like a triad kind of thing.
A great thing at that time was the fact that there were so many different, everybody was different from each other. You know, towards the later days, people would do a straight, say, English punk rock scene kind of band or something like that. But in the early days, everybody had a distinct identity.
First show we ever played, the Valtones, was in a club called the Underground.
The Colonial?
The Colonial Underground, yeah. And so was the second gig there. And the third gig was in CBGB's.
Teenage Head, Diodes, and Valtones, we all went down to CBGB's in New York, and they had like a Canadian punk weekend. Posters on the street. It was the first time that that I saw bands putting up posters on poles, and well, it was the only way you had to, you know, unless you went out and bought ads, and you know, you wouldn't do that. You basically had to just go out on the street and do it yourself, and you know, that's one of the things I first noticed, and so you know, we did the same thing.
We're sitting now on what they always called trendy Queen Street West, but this was kind of like the time, the land that time forgot here, you know. People just didn't care about this neighborhood, and yet there was an art college with a couple of bars and so forth where people were meeting, exchanging ideas. There were spaces where at one time we got a basement of a place down on Duncan Street and just ran a club all one summer, you know.
Crash and Burn was a very peculiar club because it wasn't a club as a club per se. It was basically a gigantic sort of warehouse basement at the bottom of this industrial building right next to the Honest Ed's restaurant in Toronto. And it was primarily the Diodes rehearsal space. And when they couldn't get any gigs in real clubs, we just decided, why don't we open it up, get a special occasion permit, and have our own club for the bands, where bands can play outside. So it was open Fridays and Saturdays. It was open basically during the month of August 1977. We'd go down Thursday, get the special occasion permit, buy a couple of cases of beer, and you could come in, pay $1. It was like a high school dance.
How do you see the Crash and Burn days? Were they an asset to you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
historically speaking, they're very important in terms of Canada. There's a Crash and Burn film, which I talked to the filmmaker Ross McLaren the other day. He's sold the film 30 times. It's been shown in Cannes Film Festival. It's shown all over the U.S. It's done a circuit all through Canada, and it's all about Crash and Burn. And it's really, you know, well known internationally. It's put Toronto on the map as far as New Wave is concerned.
It only lasted a month, but it was a hell of a month. While the club ran, we had our own little fanzine that we put out called the Crash and Burn News. It's our little tidbits on what the local bands are up to. Bands like the Vile Tones, just the famous Nazi Dog. I mean, he took punk to the limits. I mean, I remember seeing their very first gig. It was at a place called the Colonial Underground. He just took a beer bottle, smashed it on stage, took it, and just ran it down his arm.
Did you always see punk equated with violence? Did it have to be that way?
I sort of did, yeah, and it cost us a couple of band members in different occasions sort of throughout the years, but I had a strong identification with it. I thought that it was synonymous with it. It was an integral part of the music. Not in that way of shows now where you'll see kids sort of, you know, trying to jump on and off the stage on a Faith No More concert, but beyond that, I mean, way beyond it. And I thought it to be very important.
Punk rock was always like, punk rock meant fighting and everything, so there's like the Blake Street Boys, right? Yeah. So they, you know, and they always sort of hung around the Vile Tones, and there, you know, sort of like gang warfare in the clubs. But it was fun, and so our last night at the Horseshoe was called The Last Pogo, hence the movie that was filmed there and the record, and we had about 8 bands playing, and we were recording it, and the Vile Tones didn't really want to be in on it, and Teenage Head were headlining, and I don't know, as soon as Teenage Head, the place was jam-packed. Teenage Head get on stage, and there's like some drunken undercover cops drinking at the bar, and decided, well, this is like pandemonium, and they closed the show. The Blake Street Boys, there was a riot. It sounded like people cutting down trees. I mean, everybody was like slamming their wooden chairs into the tables.
Certainly the economic climate was 100% different here. I mean, there was never probably a more prosperous time economically in Canada than in the mid-70s and so forth, which was just the opposite of what was happening in England. So I would say, you know, like a lot of the sociological thing, man, you know, you couldn't sing about the same social ills that were plaguing England in this country at that time.
What defined the scene, therefore? If it's not really the politics of the British bands,
it was style.
I mean, I found it when, again, that third show, playing CBGB, sort of revolting that they looked closer to the Ramones than anything sort of hip. I mean, to me... Well, yeah, you know, and the New York bands, I mean, they appeared to be, you know, there was a 10-year gap in our ages. I mean, people, I mean, I think they're fine. I mean, you know, a lot of them are even brilliant, but I mean, people like Debbie Harry and any of the Ramones, I mean, were so sinfully ugly, too. So this was something that I feel that, to me, the important aspect was the complexion that was put on the movement by the English bands.
London calling through the faraway town. Now war is declared and battle come down. London calling to the underworld.
come out of the cupboard, you boys and girls.
Toronto, it wasn't as organized as it should have been, you know, in hindsight.
That whole era was underrepresented on vinyl, right? Like, there were hardly any really good punk albums to come out of this scene, and this was one of the biggest, most important scenes in the whole world. You know, after like London and New York, Toronto that's where it was happening.
Vancouver, in some ways, was way ahead of Toronto in that. I think there's more visual documentation of the Vancouver scene than there is of the Toronto scene.
Vancouver's not like a big city like Toronto where you can have splinter groups that are big enough to support a scene. In Vancouver, you basically have to pretty well have everybody to make up enough.
At that time, I guess we were a pretty small group of people. I guess there was about a good 100 regulars that showed up to all the gigs. And I guess the most noticeable thing about it back then was that there were all kinds of different factions. You know, there was mods and pop and new wave and punk. And seeing that the scene was so small, everybody seemed to just get together.
I guess the first thing I ever saw was really the Ramones, right? They happened to be coming into town, and they weren't selling any tickets, so some reason or you could get in for like $5 or get in for free. Like basically everybody scanned their way in, and about 400 people showed up and saw them, like in this about June '77. And it was like probably the greatest gig I've ever seen, right? It was like an awakening. That kind of got things going, and then some bands started. The Furies were the first, and it's the Dish Rags from Victoria.
It was a band from Vancouver called the Furies that we saw that summer of '77, and they asked us to play with them at the Japanese Hall, which was the first gig. And there's all my other friends, yeah, my old friends, my favorite friends, they're all done and gone downhill, but their eyes are looking up just like mine are looking down.
DOA's first gig, like this was a little bit later in February '78, was at the same place, Japanese Hall. We knew 3.5 songs. Like we knew 3, and we kind of knew half of another one. And we sort of begged our way into the stage, right, and boarded these guys' gear, and we started playing the 3 songs. And then when we started playing them over again, the guys in our band realized what was going on, and this sort of fight erupted on stage. With it, you know, eventually we got outnumbered, and they got their gear back, right, and that was our first gig. Subhumans were a great band, and there was the DOA Subhuman rivalry where we'd never play on the same bill. Who's going to headline? Is there something stupid like that? It's also we'd been in the same band together. Some of the guys who sort of some bad blood between us a little bit, right? So.
Okay, that's Days of the Smiling Buddha. That was just recently I just did. That kind of reminded me of the old days. I just was thinking about the days, and that was a club on Hastings. It was like a little hole in the wall, but that's where the punk scene really started out of it in terms of what was happening downtown in Vancouver. You'd go down there, and the gigs were going on, bands you never seen or heard, and stuff like this. It was a lot of fun. Cops come call everybody away for being underage and stuff like this. Everybody'd be back again next week. You know, there'd be. It was really crazy. And that was sort of like the view from the audience. You know, when you're on stage there, looking down at all the characters out in front of you, and this is what was going on, and you don't know how to play, and they don't know what they're listening to, and everything's crazed, and everything's going to wake up with a bad hangover in the morning.
Back then, it was just like everybody had so much energy. It was go, go, go.
When the whole scene started you know, flourishing in New York and England, etc., people picked up on it here, and I think the media had a lot to do with it. They were really fair to the bands as far as doing videos with them and, you know, covering the press, while in a lot of other cities, such as even San Francisco, the media doesn't really give a damn.
And Buck Cherry was kind of at the center of the whole thing, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was that character who was... had all the Rolling Stones moves down, had all the Rolling Stones history, and could impersonate Keith Richards at the drop of a hat, and a good friend of Art's and mine's, and great influence and great great intellect and great knowledge and things. Now works for the Sun, and is probably in the basement somewhere working on some new band episode to Alicia and everybody with his world famous video, Barbara.
Quintessence Records was one of the very first places around here, anyways, that gave some kind of support. There was somebody that finally that was willing to go into debt. And that was Ted Thomas. Yeah, yeah. He you know, he's the guy that basically sort of lied to the studios and things like that so that we could all afford to lose money.
This was just sort of the West Coast explosion with Circle Jerks and Dead Kennedys and all those people coming up and down the West Coast. We couldn't get across those damn mountains.
People in the prairies where the name Dead Kennedys came from.
It's designed to bring attention to the end of the American dream and the beginning of the me generation. The thing that got the ball rolling was the Kennedy killings. The main causes were Vietnam and Watergate, where people decided they didn't care anymore, not their effort didn't matter, all they cared about is themselves, and consequently America and thus Canada as well, due to the old domino theory, is slowly caving in.
The way the world is set up, you are shunned for changing and progressing. You are spit on for progressing and creating new music and new ideas, and you are rewarded for constantly being a parody of yourself, for constantly recreating yourself, acting like yourself, you know, a year ago.
Punk rockers and rockers in general can be some of the most one-way, closed-minded, fascistic people grouped together that I've ever seen.
You
slip right now.
Punk 7679 will return with the end of the beginning.
When I head for the showers, there's only one shampoo and conditioner I take. Pert Plus. Sure, I've tried some other 2-in-1s, but with Pert Plus, I get better lather. And to me, that means hair that's really clean. Pert Plus beats them hands down. And these other 2-in-1s, there's no question Pert Plus conditions better. Pert Plus beats them too. Look, why settle for anything else when I get cleaning and conditioning like this with Pert Plus, a winning combination for great-looking hair.
In 1989, at 507 syllables a minute, Daddy Freddie rapped his way into the record books. The world's fastest drummer hit over 3,000 beats a minute. On guitar, Rick Raven blistered in at 5,400 notes a minute. And now...
Here's your pizza.
No way. Thanks.
Yes, McDonald's pizza is freshly baked in our revolutionary ovens in under 5 minutes. Okay, maybe it won't make the charts, but you've never had pizza so good, so fast.
Action! Wednesdays on Music.
Music!
Wednesdays on Music.
Wednesdays on Much Music. See the newest of the new. On the Hostess Sneak Previews. Direct from our image factory to you, it's the latest from the greatest. So don't miss the next shipment of the freshest videos in the land on the Hostess Sneak Previews. Wednesdays on Much Music.
Host Canada to continue.
You could have the biggest, coolest stereo and the most music with Much Music and Heinz Ketchup. You'll be flown to Toronto with $5,000 to spend on music and a new sound system.
These you want to go 311.
Plus, you get to choose a shopping partner from this wide assortment of DJs. Please do not frighten, abuse, taunt, or poke the VJ with a stick. To enter, send your name, address, and phone number to MuchMusic along with 2 proofs of purchase from Heinz Ketchup. It just doesn't taste the same without it. And we'll pour on the sound. Enter today.
The punk movement may have been in the 20th century as important as what existentialism was in the earlier part of this century.
Punk, what did that mean to you when you were there growing up?
Well, the first week, everything, I think. Not for me.
It was just like playing from the hip, you know, fast and loud and not even bothering if you got it wrong. It was like above the door, no experience necessary. That was the great enticer in.
What do I get? Oh, what do I get?
Life to be great, but if it wasn't for punk, there's no way somebody like me would have got playing music. It was punk. People were picking up instruments, so I thought, well, I'll pick up an instrument too. So it's good.
It's strange, looking back, it's like having a moving photo album when you see like old videos. It just seems like different people, totally different people. And the further you get away from your memories of the actual recording and the gigs you did at the time, it just becomes a bit of a blur.
Yeah, there's a bunch of kids out there that really want to be in bands. They've got incredible ideas musically. They're young, fresh, and that you got to really give the kids a listen when they come up there with their musical ideas. And you're going to hear something different that you've never heard of before, and you're going to get the personalities of an awful lot of young people just going on nothing but instinct.
And that's what really music is. It's a reflection of people and times, you know.
The attitude of punk has been felt, like I say, around the world, and felt by people that would say that punk is, you know, rubbish. I mean, even the big rock stars, I think they had to, a lot of them had to check themselves and say, well, am I a boring old fart? You know what I mean?
Are there any punks left in the world?
I hope not. It's a term I've never liked. Punk rock was finished when the Damned played the first gig.
Envision yourself doing something that was as important as The Clash was to break new ground into the music we're listening to and the lifestyle? No?
No. I'm just trying to be realistic there. You know, I think, because I try to study other careers, you know, other people, and what do they, you know, when they had their group, when the group split up, what do they do after, where are they now, or, you know, or I wish they'd go away, you know. You think about other people, and I just know that The Clash was like really fantastically important, all the things we were doing. And it was of its time, and the times are different. Today nobody cares about that stuff, you know? It's all like career and money and get a BMW, you know?
We ain't got no hide, except for that one with the yellowy eyes. The ice is coming, the sun's zooming in. Engines stuck on him, the wheat is going big, a nuclear error. But I have no fear, cause London is drowning out here by the river.
The industry wouldn't be the same without punk. It's had an influence, and it still has an influence on these bands, these pop-type metal bands and the speed metal bands.
There's a young little up-and-coming band called Guns N' Roses. And when they were really young, you know, they were into punk rock, and now they're big rock stars. You know, they're saying, "Hey guys, thanks," and they're putting a lot of punk bands on their new LP. You know, and I think, you know, they're doing one of our tunes, "Down on the Farm."
Say punk's not dead, it just smells that way.